Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 6 of Coffee Chats with Ranjani and Vignesh. Today, we are going to talk about a very favorite question. Vignesh is already smiling. What are the challenges of being a first time manager? Right? Something I've personally gone through, I've seen with my managers, and I'm sure Vignesh has a lot of thoughts on this topic as well. So I'm going to let him start. Vignesh, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think my first stint as a people manager was way back in 2010, if I remember right. Like I was made a manager for the first time. So when you start your journey as a person, you think that it's absolutely cool. You suddenly feel empowered. You feel that it's very straightforward. It's all going to be easy. But trust me, managing people is the most complex thing, and that's what I think
Yeah.
resonates with this question, and that's why I started laughing. Right, number one, I'll just tell where I went wrong and how I have basically groomed myself in every stint that I have had ever since I became my first manager. Right, first manager, I'll be very honest. When I was having my performance review with my team, I was more scared than them, to be very honest, because it was the glare that came from the other side was so intense that I basically had to prepare mentally to pass the message. So number one is how confident you are in that role. You have to basically be the leader, be the manager who has that composure to lead a team, right? So start building on that personality of yourself before you jump into that role as such. Number one. Second is striking that balance. I think I did that mistake both ways. I tried being not the aggressive, but the very pushy kind of manager, trying to ask everything what's happening. And in another role, said, okay, this is not working, so maybe I should be like a pal working with my team. Both sides didn't work. Both ways, the team started suffering. So you have to start narrowing down that. You have to strike that balance. When do you get in? When do you let the team be on autopilot? And you should ideally also balance on two things. Let me be very. That's the last point I want to tell. Some managers choose to totally distance themselves away from the functional areas or from the reality that is at the ground level. That is also dangerous. And some people do not want to let go. They still are the subject matter experts even after they become the manager. And both of these styles are very dangerous, because end of the day they are detrimental for the role. So striking the balance for me was the key, both on the style, the way you spoke to people, the way you jumped in, the way you pulled up people, held people accountable, having those straight talks. That's on the people side. And on the functional side, you have to know your stuff. You cannot let people take you for a ride. And at the same time, you don't want to be so deep that people are like, hey, let me not work and let the manager himself come or herself come and do the work. So these are some of the points that I had.
Clearly a passionate topic for Vignesh, but I see where he comes from, right? This is again, I don't want to put this out there that it's not like suddenly you wake up to become a great manager, right? It's something you continue to learn, and I'm sure I've done my more than share of mistakes. I continue to learn, right? So it's a journey, not necessarily something you wake up and suddenly become a perfect person, right? So that's one. Through this journey, what I've learned though is to be vulnerable, right? To say that yeah, I messed up. I know I should have done better, and that's helped a lot, right, over the period of time. It's not about being a superstar, but knowing that you can admit failure and being very open with your teams, right? So what is the biggest challenge I've seen, what I've struggled with, what I've seen my managers struggle with, something to be wary about and work towards is delegation, right? It's a very broad topic, so I'll break it down, right? People tend to hold things close. And this comes from multiple reasons, right? It could be intentional or unintentional. Sometimes they feel that the importance lies because they are holding things to themselves. Making yourself a bottleneck is the worst thing you can do for yourself and for your teams. You're not letting your teams grow, therefore you don't grow as well, right? Never hold things close. The more open you are about things, the better it is for your team and for yourself. So that's one, right? Two, when you delegate outcomes, not tasks, right? So this is another thing I've seen, right, where you would have managers who would go and say, oh, you know what, do this, do this, do this, and then the person would not understand why are they doing this. They don't understand. So there are multiple ways to cross a bridge, right? So if you're asking a person to cross a bridge, he or she may say, okay, maybe the fastest way is to take a bridge, or I'll take a boat instead. There's multiple ways to cross a river, rather. So, but if you were to tell them do this, you're always going to be the showstopper. They're always going to come back to you. So it'll never solve the problem per se, right? So delegate outcomes, not necessarily tasks, right? And the third one, again, most important, managing yourself means managing upwards and downwards, right? Which means expectation management. Set clear expectations both with your manager around what success means, and to your teams around what success means, right? And that needs to happen over and over and over again. People tend to think it's a very, you ask and you shall receive kind of outlook, right? They're like, oh, they didn't ask me. No, it's not their prerogative, it's your prerogative, right? The best people who grow are the ones who make it their prerogative, communicate upwards and downwards. So over index on that. That's the other thing I would leave with the new managers, right? So clearly a passionate topic, way
No, I
above the
think
time,
we,
but
we will
yeah,
need one more
session
session
in this,
maybe
right? Yeah.
because the point that she made about managing up and down is where you have to grow your skill sets as a manager when you grow deeper, like 10
Yeah.
years experience, 12 years experience. That's where it is. Already we're at the 6 minute mark. So I don't want to
Yep.
stretch this beyond
Yeah,
this. Yeah.
we'll do another session on managing upwards, managing your manager, right? But thanks a lot for this. Thanks for listening. And as always, drop a message with any topics you would like us to cover. Talk soon in another episode. Take care. Bye bye.